And we are live. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching this. Welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. And as always, we are joined by the one, the only, the man of the sea, the man with the beard who's shaved it at the moment, but he will always be affectionately known as Captain Birdseye. Say hello, Nige.
Hello, and you forgot one thing.
Captain Birdseye!
There we go.
Anyway, guys, welcome to this week's Monkey Nut Punch podcast. In a week where absolutely nothing happened. Nothing around the world. Everything's normal. Don't look over here. In all seriousness, guys, it's been a bit of a busy week for all of us, and we're going to slightly wing this one. There isn't that many news stories, TV news stories, or movie news stories this week, but there is a few things happening in the week. So we're gonna have a little chat about the pending Xbox and PlayStation 5 launches, but there are a few stories to get our teeth into. So what we will do is should have prepped this beforehand, but I haven't because I suck. I will share the first story now. And this is the first story, if you can see that. Can you see that? Right. So
Well done.
This is one that this is one that bugs me. But basically, we kind of heard rumors about this for a while, but it is now being confirmed that I thought her name was Natasha or Latasha, but Lashana Lynch, who was the friend of Captain Marvel in that god-awful film, and who is in the latest Bond film. And she was playing, we knew she was playing a spy, but we didn't know that she had the famous 007 code name. But it has now been confirmed that she is, in fact, 007 in this film. And of course, in typical sort of 2020 fashion, they're coming out and immediately attacking the people that have a problem with this. Well, you're going to have to attack me as well because I have a problem with this. And it has nothing to do with being a chauvinist. It has nothing to do with misogyny. It has to do with the fact that I understand that the world, I am a bit of a lefty, and I can understand that, that sometimes women have been mistreated and everything. But James Bond 007 is the ultimate male fantasy. That's why it sells, and it appeals to both sexes. It appeals to women because he's always a tall, handsome man that just does everything. He's suave and he's sophisticated, and most women love him. Men love him because he's a suave, sophisticated bloke with all the gadgets and sleeps with a lot of women. But if you take away every single fantasy or try and interject this identity bullshit politics into everything, you're going to get a backlash. And immediately attacking everybody because they have a problem with this is a surefire way to polarize a situation. I think we can safely say, without getting into any kind of politics, there's enough polarization in the world as it is. We don't need it in our entertainment. And I don't know. This is just bullshit for me. I mean, look, I can understand that you might find Bond slightly chauvinistic, but that's kind of the point. But if you speak to most women, they kind of like Bond. They kind of like Bond films. It is kind of like the fantasy side of things, and that's what Bond has always tapped into, and it has updated itself over the eras. I think this has gone too far. I just think this is just trying to prove a point. I mean, I don't think it's a coincidence that she's black. I don't think it's a coincidence that that she has short hair like this. It is all on purpose, and it's just virtue signaling. And it's virtue signaling that's bullshit because it's fake. If the producers felt that didn't feel that, if not 2019 hadn't happened, if we hadn't seen this wokeness, I suppose it started in 2016 with a certain person getting elected to a certain office, and the world collectively lost their shit. But if that hadn't happened, I can guarantee you she wouldn't be playing Bond. It has nothing to do with wokeness. It is to do with appealing to a minority that have the loudest voices, in my opinion. What do you think, Nige?
Well, this is news to me. I didn't know the next James Bond was going to be a woman.
Well, no, it's no. She's playing 007 in the latest Bond film. We knew that she was going to be a spy. Because at the end of the last Bond film, they kind of didn't think he was coming back, so they kind of ended it with him disappearing off into the sunset with his latest lady, and that was how that Bond film. That was how Daniel Craig was going to end, but the producers decided that they hadn't had enough of Daniel Craig whinging like a bitch and threw 50 million quid at them. And anybody, when you throw 50 million quid at them, suddenly they become much more willing to do things. Can't think why. I mean, 50 million quid.
Well, yeah. I actually can't remember her in Captain Marvel. I can't. There's a lot of things in Captain Marvel I don't remember because it was a bit of a shit film.
It's such an unforgettable film.
I don't know. I always thought James Bond is the same as 007. It is like I never thought it was a moniker. I never thought 007 was just a title. I always thought 007 is James Bond. And when James Bond ceases to exist, 007 is no more and there's another number for someone else. That's what I thought.
It kind of, I think they kind of, I mean, Lord and I was when we first sort of saw other 00 agents, because you had Sean Beam's bad guy agent. If she turns up as we knew she was a 00 agent, but they are making a point of making 007. And that's the thing that bugs me. If she turned around and she was like, 05 or 004, that's fine. But this is a clear and trying to appease a minority of people, and they are a minority of people. This is why when you go woke, you go broke. And no matter how you fucking spin this shit, no matter how many ways you try this, we've got enough shit going on in our lives without fucking identity politics being inserted into everything. And a lot of people are switching off from it. It's true. And I wish they'd stop this crap. Look, I'm all for. It's a difficult one because I watched Discovery this week, right? And I wasn't going to really talk about this, and I'm not going to talk about Discovery in general, but they have a relationship in there, and we featured it. And looking at the relationship, if this wasn't the Star Trek Discovery producers, I wouldn't have minded the relationship. But because it's the Star Trek Discovery things, they are hijacking could be quite nice. And it's the same with this. It just for the wrong reasons. That's what bugs me. That's the thing that bugs me about all of this crap. It is not done for the right reasons. And it is not done for what it is all about. Look at me, look at how brilliant I am. It's not about actually being progressive, actually making a difference. Because if it was, you would be writing decent characters. You'd be writing characters that actually make sense. You would be writing, you would start out with a character. You'd start out with a black character. This is partly why I didn't have a problem black as a lot of people had, because I was more bothered about the politics behind it. The movie itself is not that bad, and it isn't that woke, but the political bullshit surrounding it, and the fact that in that same month the what's his face came out, what was it, Infinity War, which to me was the far braver, far better directed film, and yet which one got the picture nod? Best picture nod? Black Panther did, and that to me was disingenuous. And this is, I think, again, it's just disingenuous. It's just, you're not creating a character the good of a film or the good of a story. You're creating a character for point of virtue signaling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I just want to say I think I'm having major internet problems because I'm barely able to hear anything you're saying. I think it's my side. I don't think it's anyone else's side.
I'm going off on one. Well,
I'm hearing every other word. I sort of got an idea. Unfortunately, I think it's me. I don't think
it's me. It's not you. What is this, a relationship, dude?
Sort of.
I'm going to. Gareth can't join us today, but I think he's watching on his mobile phone. He's just made a comment, and I'm going to read it. If we were tired to the idea of having brave, black, beautiful female, they would have gone with the equivalent budget. That's absolutely true. She has the personality of an empty cardboard box. Having watched her in Captain Marvel, I would have to agree with that. Yes. Oh God, yeah. I mean, she's a good actress. And no, you're right. Why not have Moneypenny lifted, having her out in the field again? The interesting thing was it wasn't Skyfall, it was it was Skyfall, where she is in the field with him, and those whole scenes with her in were really good. I just look, if you want to write a spy movie with a strong character, do it. But don't back an existing fucking franchise. Stop with that shit. Because you're just going to polarize people. Stop with this fucking polarization stuff already. We've got enough shit.
What I think they should have done, if they were so dead set on using the 00 moniker, they could have had maybe a 003 or 004, and she could be 003 or 4, and then build not a new, but it's sort of a side franchise to James Bond, and call her Jane Bond or something, or whatever name they want to give her for being 003, and show the life of 003, and on occasion she meets up with 007 on a mission or something, and sort of tie them in that way, rather than essentially steal the 007 title from there, and because it's a different franchise. It is a different franchise, and you can see how she would go about doing things in opposed to what James would do as 007. I think that would have probably worked better, and you wouldn't have got anyone. Yeah, they could have just thought about it. I don't care who the actress is doing this. I'm not bothered who she is. But I just think that they've taken this franchise, which has been around for how many years now? 40 years or something, maybe longer, and then just gone, click of the fingers, we'll change it all. And unfortunately, they built up this over the last 40 years. Build up this this following of people, male and female, who like James Bond, and then just taking a shit on them and said, if you don't like it, then it's your fault.
Yeah, it's this haters be damned thing. Without an issue with you attacking something that is, James Bond, as I said, is one of the old series. They have made billions actually. I mean, Skyfall was a $1 billion movie out of this franchise by appealing, using a handsome man that is suave and sophisticated, sleeps with lots of women for years, right? And now all of a sudden, because a certain amount of a minority of people on Twitter are saying, "Oh, and attacking this," and believe me, you can appease these people, all you want. They will never be happy. You just look at J.K. Rowling's situation to prove how quickly and how fickle these fucking idiots are. The dark wokeness, when Hermione Granger was cast as a person, realized Harry Potter that had major roles. So when they did the stage show to combat that bullshit, they cast Hermione Granger as a black person. Which, look, it's fine. But what pissed me off about that was J.K. Rowling came out and said, "Well, I never said she wasn't." Well, yes, you did. The fucking sketches in the American books and all the bloody front covers of your books, which show Hermione as white. So no, you did that, and people used to love her because she was like this feminist fucking icon. The minute she says something that is slightly controversial about transgender people, everybody fucking turns on her. You have fucking Daniel Radcliffe coming out and all of the fucking cast going, "Oh, fucking trans women are women," and all this bullshit, and totally disowning her. That you are never going to please these people, so stop appealing to them. James Bond is the ultimate male fantasy. It has always been the male fantasy, and it always will. Not recast James Bond as a fucking female, because it will not work, and people will not watch it. They won't. What is people with them attacking people that have an issue is, you watch, right? The movie will not make the money, and what will they do? And it's bullshit. Some of it will be to blame with COVID, as we've seen with what's his face's Tenant, but a lot of it now is going to be people not intersectional shit. They go to James Bond because it's escapism. It's about having a fantasy, and it's pure escapism. That's why James Bond sells. And now what you've done is you've destroyed that bullshit.
All right. So, Keith.
So
just for info. It is your connection, sir. I thought it was mine. Turns out I'm all right.
Hang on.
So, sort it, sunshine. Sort it, because I am only hearing every other word.
And, I'm going to switch. Nigel, give your opinion. I'm going to.
Right. So I was while you switch over, I was wondering how she's meant to be 007 in this new film, No Time to Die. When I know Daniel Craig's in it. And I think what happens is maybe middle way through that I can't say her name. Nomi she gets assigned the moniker 007. So she takes over as 007. I see what they're trying to do, but could they not have them work together and not take over the moniker, but take 005 or something instead? Right, so Keith's properly dirt-faced and properly gone at the moment. Gareth's actually said 007 is just a code and James Bond has left. So that was my question earlier. I didn't know if James Bond 007 was just a moniker or a code name for the person or not. But could they not have run two in parallel, had a think about it, done two in parallel, and Keith has gone fully. He's well and truly fucked his internet. Could they not have run the two in parallel with each other? And then, he's back. Oh, yeah. Oh, you look cleaner.
Sorry?
You do look cleaner. I can see. Right, okay. So I was just saying how Gareth's mentioned that 007 is just a code and James Bond left, and he said they've just reissued the code. So, yeah, I see.
Yeah.
It's not.
But that's not why they've done it.
I've done it in both. I can see the reason why they've done it, but the question should be, should they have done it? because James Bond is a franchise, a film franchise. 007 is, and he may not have done two. One with
he's playing. He's playing devil's advocate here a bit, but that's not the reason they've done it. We all know why they've done this.
Yeah. Do you know, it's very much a case of like when we watched the Marvel's Avengers film, the last film, where all the women came together out of nowhere, like, you know, there was a bit of virtual signaling there. The boys did it so much fucking better, where the Frenchie went, girls get things done, and they fucking were, because there was a natural way for them to get together and be the fucking badass, and that works so much better than empty virtual signaling by just
signaling,
popping people in there just because. I don't want people in there just because. They need to be there for a reason and work it into the story so they are there and integral, just like the boys did. And the boys did it fantastically well. So
it's more natural. It feels more natural.
I'd much prefer it if it was maybe because the film hasn't come out yet. We haven't seen the reason why or how this 007 moniker's moved over. But the film's not out until next year. So I reckon, how about we watch the film and then if it ever does come out, let's watch the film and then see if it is a little bit shite.
The thing that bugs me is that they put this out there and then they're immediately on the defensive, and it's like, well, what, you know, you're right, we should see the film, and it probably turn out to be absolutely nothing, although I have a feeling it isn't because of certain things that Phoebe Waller-Bridge has said and all that kind of stuff. But I hope it's more like, you know, the fucking hubbub that was talked about with the Star Trek movie, where all this shit was about Sulu being gay. And you actually watch that film, it's the most natural thing in the world. A man greeting somebody he loves and walking off with their child and hand in hand. And that was it. Okay, it happens to be another man. But there wasn't a big fucking neon sign going, oh, look, Sulu's gay. But everybody fucking made this hubbub about it. And the fucking Beauty and the Beast thing. Oh, my God. The shit that was around that. And then you watch that fucking film, and it's just Josh Gad smiling and dancing with another guy. Oh, my God. Shock. Fucking horror. At the same time, I can understand that. And you watch these films, and it's bullshit. But this just feels like it's the way they're on the attack already.
Let's don't get on the defensive straight off. It makes you feel like you've done something wrong.
But if they hang on, I just want to show Gareth's last comment. I hope he's right with this. Hoping that she's a double agent like Sean Bean was. That could work. It's the only way out of this, in my opinion. But we should. And
I think we should move on because I think you've ranted long enough.
Yeah. Okay. Now then, we've got. It's fair. No, I'm not going to disagree with you. It bugs the shit out of me. Right. I am going to share this with you guys because it would appear that Spider-Man 3, Marvel's Spider-Man 3, has started filming. And this week, Tom Holland tweeted this, which I thought was quite funny.
For our podcast listeners, he's wearing the Spider-Man suit, but he's got a mask over the top. You don't need a mask, son. You've got one over your face.
Yes, well, I know, but I just found that quite amusing.
I like Tom Holland. I do like his Spider-Man. I've seen quite a few interviews with him as well, and he's really good. There's an interview where it was on the Graham Norton show actually, and he's on the couch with Tom Hanks, and Tom Hanks is doing this sort of to and fro with him. It's great. It's about coffee. He's saying there's a line that they teach you, and Tom Hanks tells you, it's like coffee, please, can I have some more coffee, right? And he tells Tom to do it in many different ways. Every time he goes, oh, thank you, and then every time he says, oh, thank you, you've got to do it a different way and intonate different ways and stuff like. And the interaction between them, fantastic. And he's going, Tom Hanks, please, can I have some more coffee? Yeah, and he's doing all the different ways of it. It's brilliant, and I do think as Spider-Man, he was really quite He was good, wasn't he?
He can't.
To be fair to him.
I will say this because Gareth, I can hear Gareth saying this. Oh, but he's not the real Spider-Man. He's not Spider-Man. Blah blah blah. And if you're looking at if you're a Spider-Man purist, I have to agree with Gareth.
I'm not.
But Tom Holland is such a likable guy that, for me, he is my favorite person so far to have played Spider-Man because he's just likable. That he just is likable. And I enjoy the Marvel Spider-Man movies. I know Gareth's issues with them, and I completely get it. And I've loved Spider-Man for a very long time. I've got a lot of Spider-Man comics. I collected a hell of a lot. I've got fucking 50th anniversary fucking variant covers that are worth quite a bit of money. I love Spider-Man, but I do like Tom Holland. If it was another actor, I would be bugged more about what bugs Gareth. And I would be, but I can forgive it because I like Tom Holland. I was watching something the other day randomly on Netflix. Jon Favreau, who did one of my favorite little sort of indie films called Chef, where he was a chef that had sort of left his wife, and him and his kid go on a road trip with this banged out sort of food van, and he ends up, going across America on a road trip in a food van and selling tacos and Cuban food everywhere. And it's a great film. But Jon Favreau is into his food, and he's done a Netflix series, I think, called Chef something. And one of the episodes is he's got fucking Kevin Feige, he's got Robert Downey Jr., and he's got Tom Holland on there. And they're all sitting around eating the food and talking. And just, again, Tom Holland just comes across as a genuinely nice kid. And besides, he's from fucking Kingston, isn't he?
He's from there.
So he's from pretty much where I grew up. Literally, fucking like a bicycle ride away.
I think he's from Richmond.
So he's a local boy. He's a local boy as well. Which
I think it was Richmond. But I do have a soft spot for Tobey Maguire because he's in the first films that I watched, and I know he did the 3 films, and I thought he was okay on there. But they're that's really, although I watched a couple of cartoons growing up, I was never really into that sort of thing growing up. I was more like Thundercats and He-Man and stuff, and playing football every day. Whereas you, on the flip side, all the cartoons and stuff like that.
But I was a strange kid because I didn't really do He-Man and Thundercats, but that's because I suppose I kind of wasn't a cool kid, but I did watch Spider-Man. Certainly in the 90s. Gareth here is saying watch the. I was, but I've got a story about Disney Plus in a minute, and it'll make you laugh. But Gareth says watch the Spider-Man on Disney Plus from the 90s. It's awesome, and he's right. And I did watch things, but I was a Star Wars kid. I was a E.T. kid, that Ghostbusters. Watched Ghostbusters cartoon when I was a kid. But those were the kind of cartoons I was watching. Mask, which we mentioned a couple of weeks ago, did watch that. But I was never into sort of He-Man to the extent a lot of people were. I did, funny enough, start watching Transformers, I think when I was about 12, because somebody bought me the Transformers movie for a birthday, and I watched it and quite liked it. Never played with Transformers as a kid, but I got into the cartoons as an elder person. But yeah,
I had a few of those, models for Transformers.
I was also, and Gareth is also accusing me of being a TNG nerd. Yeah, well, look. Gareth calls me a Trekkie, but this guy's fucking 10 times more knowledgeable about Trek than I am.
Hang on, Keith. Keith, what does TNG mean?
I don't know. The Next Generation.
Oh, okay.
Star Trek: The Next Generation.
I'm thinking that's something about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but it's not. Because that was my thing when I did get into Star Trek: The Next Gen, but not until 1991, I think, was when I first watched TNG. Before that, I remember watching the original series with my dad. I liked Thunderbirds as a kid. I forgot that. Thunderbirds and Stingray I was heavily into, especially Thunderbirds. I had the fucking Thunderbirds toys.
But I watched the original series. I remember watching the original series with my dad, and I remember going to the cinema to watch Star Trek 5, but I was very young at that point, and Star Trek 6: The Undiscovered Country, which is still one of the better fucking movies.
I've no idea about. But do you know, for me,
you never seen Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country?
I don't know what you're saying. Is that,
dude? You've got to see Star Trek 6. It's a fucking good movie. It's not Wrath of Khan, but it is a good movie.
I've actually borrowed Wrath of Khan off Gareth. If Gareth's listening, it's in my DVD rack. I still haven't seen it.
You've got to watch Wrath of Khan, but
and what's
Star Trek 6. Nice. Star Trek 6 possibly has the greatest fucking line in any Trek movie anywhere, where a Klingon general goes, "You've never experienced Shakespeare until you've heard it in its original Klingon." This is a fantastic fucking line. And not only is it, it's fucking Christopher Lambert, a Shakespearean actor, that says it. It's really good line. Fucking
that's quite well thought out. And well, growing up, like you say,
Tuck back.
I probably caught the one or two, maybe a little bit more episodes of Star Trek. Never really my thing, and mostly watch the X-Files growing up. Or actually, you mentioned Star Wars. I wasn't even aware of the existence of Star Wars until I was about 21. That's
my parents were.
I was literally playing football every single day. I was playing semi-pro, so I needed to play every single day, and I didn't have time in the evenings for anything really, apart from playing Championship Manager on the Amiga. And
but you are a fantasy nerd, and I had some fantasy growing up as a kid.
Yeah,
in fact, one of the first bedtime stories I ever fucking remember was my my mother reading me Terry Pratchett's Equal Rights, which was a fucking Discworld novel. And I remember her doing the Granny Weatherwax voice. It was amazing. And years later, I met Pratchett and got a signed copy of it and told him it was like one of the first. It's one of the. I know that she used to read me stories as a kid, but this was one of the first that I actually remember. And he was really impressed by that. I had Lord of the Rings as well when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Hang on. Hang on. Gareth's right. I meant Christopher Plummer. That's who I meant. The fucking not Christopher Lambert, Christopher Plummer, but Shakespearean actor.
So you mentioned Discworld novel. I've actually got one of my old books from growing up. It's called Mort from Terry Pratchett. I've got that, and I've given it to my youngest son, who's going through books at the moment. And I said, right, read that. It's Terry Pratchett. You might like it. I've got over there the Discworld trilogy on the side. Many years ago, with Winchwind, and
Winchwind.
They brought out I'm sure they did. They brought out a computer game, an adventure click and
there was click game. I think there was a couple of them.
Yeah,
I'm sure there was a couple of them. Because I remember one of them featuring Death, because Death is one of my favorite fucking characters from the Discworld series. I mean, I'll never forget Reaper Man. I bought Reaper. I remember as a kid, because my mum owned this shop, and across the road, this is how much of a geeky kid I was. I fucking loved bookshops as a kid. I'm dyslexic, but my grandmother forced me to read as a kid, and I love bookshops. I used to hang out in bookshops for ages, and one of the first books I ever bought was Reaper Man from Terry Pratchett. It was a Discworld novel. And the reason I bought it was this was the back of the book. Death has gone. No, Death is missing. Gone. That was it. I love this. I'm reading this just based on that.
That's why I like the book Mort, because obviously Mort gets taken on as an apprentice, and Death then goes AWOL. So this is a brilliant quote, a famous quote, which Keith just got rid of. I hate it when bad guys quote Shakespeare. John Crichton.
Crichton, and it's from Farscape, right? It's a Farscape quote.
So should we go to the next one? We've reminisced.
The next, right. This is a brief one for Harry Potter fans out there. I think they're going to regret this, but we will see. But Johnny, oh shit, I've screwed that one. Johnny Depp has been asked to leave, and this was his statement. He's resigned from Fantastic Beasts, but he has been asked to leave by the studio after the court case this week refused, or he lost his court case. Now, he is appealing the court case against the Sun newspaper. Apart from the fact this court case has provided months of interesting tidbits that show that both him and Amber Heard are both batshit crazy. I am sorry. I don't know what the judge was thinking in this. If I'm going to be honest, if he did, being in a relationship, as most of us know, is never a straightforward thing. I'm going to put it, if she did a shit in his bed, I can understand why he, might have been a bit angry about that.
Yeah.
And there has to become a point where I don't buy that it was straightforward domestic violence. I still don't. I think he might win his appeal. I might be wrong. But if he wins his appeal, it's going to be very interesting what happens next, because the studio has pretty much sacked him based upon this. And if he wins the appeal, then he has grounds to sue the studio. And it's going to be interesting.
Then maybe sue the Sun for getting him sacked from his job.
Exactly.
And harming his future income. And I personally, nothing but I wish nothing but bad things to the Sun, because they're a scum newspaper.
I agree. They are very
libel stuff all the time, and nobody really takes them to court. I don't know really what. Maybe they word it in such a fashion that they can't be taken to court. On this occasion, they have been. I just think they're scum of the earth newspaper.
I think this is jump the gun. This is again a minority on Twitter forcing a studio into doing something based upon your what is the word? Your logic here. Then you should also be firing J.K. Rowling, because J.K. Rowling, in the eyes of these people, is a transphobic person, and that is apparently really, really wrong and stuff. It is the same fucking thing. But they haven't mentioned J.K. Rowling departing this film, even though she's a screenwriter and owns the fucking rights. So J.K. Rowling hasn't been fired or asked to leave. So why the fuck has Johnny Depp been asked to leave?
I reckon.
Because if you watch that fucking court case, if he did, look, I'm not saying that, I'm not condoning domestic violence, but there is no fucking way there's an argument that it was one way, because it isn't. You look at the details of this court case. She was equally as nuts. And I dare say that she probably attacked him, and that's what he alluded to. And they didn't do enough, in my opinion, to disprove that. But at the same time, you could argue that his legal team didn't do enough to disprove what the Sun has said. But there is going to be an appeal. He is appealing this. This is going to go on. This isn't going to stop. And I am a bit sad that he's left, because I quite liked him as
was it Grindelwald?
Grindelwald,
No.
That's it. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, he was. He was Grindelwald. So he's been booted out, unfortunately.
It's a shame. I like Johnny Depp as an actor. Obviously, I don't know really about his personal life, because who does, apart from him and Amber Heard? So I can't say anything. You never know, you don't know who's telling the truth, and I don't think we really ever will. So
I have to. Gareth says they weren't bookshops. They were cake shops. Well, okay, no, they weren't. There was genuinely. I spent a lot of time in the bookshop, but there was a cake shop 3 doors down from where my mum lived, called the Belgian Patisserie, that made the most amazing cakes in the world. I remember as a kid, they'd come back, and these cakes would take fucking years to make, because they had the chocolate flakes all around them, most elaborately. You know how these. It was a proper Belgian pastry shop. I mean, it was proper French. who was a French pastry chef that owned the shop, and there had been a Michelin star thing, and they made the most amazing, incredible cakes. So yeah, there was a cake shop. I didn't hang out in it a lot because the fucking cakes, even back then, were about 50 quid for a cake, and that's going back 25, 30 years ago. So God knows how much they would be now. But it's funny you should say that. Anyway, we should move on. We've only really got one story, which hang on, Nige, do the branding. Come on, one job. TV news.
Hang on, I'm the wrong fit. Right, hang on.
I'll sort it out. No, sort it out. Right. So we've got one story this week that's just actually come up today. The Witcher is filming, or was filming, season 2, but the production has had to shut down because, like a lot of productions this year, somebody on set has tested positive for COVID. Now, I take this news with a pinch of salt because there's been several cases recently where certain people, one of them that I listen to a podcast daily, was filming on a film set and had a positive COVID test. And then it turns out that he went and got a proper test and came up negative. And what is happening a lot at the moment is it would appear that these movie studios and set, especially when they're filming on location, are using cheap COVID testing facilities. And I've heard of two different people that, who have tested positive, production shut down, their lives have been turned upside down for 48 hours. They've gone and got a COVID test from a proper lab and it's turned out negative. So take this with a pinch of salt, especially with productions at the moment, because I'm not 100% convinced by this. I will say, as we're talking about The Witcher, thank you, Nige, for making me watch it. I did actually enjoy it in the end.
You got to get past those first 3 episodes.
Well, the boobs helped.
And seeing as you told me earlier,
what can I say?
Earlier, that Pornhub is now banned in your country.
Oh, fuck me, right? This is international. It's not just Pornhub. This is hit international news. This was on fucking Cinema Blend. Thailand bans fucking Pornhub. And they have, the bastards. And I'll tell you what made me laugh this week is there was fucking we've got all these bloody protests going on in Bangkok at the moment. I'm not going to comment on them for obvious reasons. But there was 200 odd people fucking protesting outside the ministry that is responsible for fucking digital and internet, all wearing I Love Pornhub t-shirts. It was amazing. But, oh my God. I mean, it's not the first time they've tried it, but God, fuck, Well, I mean, in a country, in a country that arguably has the largest sex trade in the world, even though they refuse to acknowledge it, it has more sex workers per capita than any other country in the world. Bans Pornhub. Oh, mate. We had there is a city, you won't know the name of it, but there is a town called Pattaya. And if you've ever seen the Thai red light district on the TV, it's Pattaya or somewhere in Phuket, right? The chief of police walked down the street with girls in bikinis and go-go bars with their boobies hanging out going, there's no prostitution in Thailand. This country I love the country that I live in, but sometimes I do wonder how a country that supposedly bases itself on saving face can seriously walk down the red light district and go, there's no prostitution here. I mean, fucking seriously. And it's banned Pornhub. It's okay, I've got VPN access. I mean, they're not that fucking clever, not as clever as the Chinese. Chinese can scam VPNs, but no, I've still got Pornhub, so that's not a problem. But ban Pornhub. I have to go on a VPN now. It's most aggravating. It delays the inevitable night.
So, what were you talking about again?
God damn these electric sex bands.
I can't help it.
So you're just Gav's right. I think you speak so passionately about the cake shop and Pornhub.
Oh, it was an amazing cake shop, Gareth. It was amazing. You would have liked these cakes. I mean, I know I love a little bit of cake, but this was an incredible place. Right, we should move on. Guys, it's okay. This week you can stop the count. See what I did there? The wait is over. Xbox is coming this week. What day is it, Nige?
Tuesday. Hang on. See.
So yes, the wait is over. So this week is Xbox, and next week is PS5. Am I right?
It is in the UK. I mean, here in the UK, it's the 10th for Xbox, S and X, and in the US and some other countries, it's the 12th for PS5, but the UK doesn't get the PS5 until the 19th, I believe. I think it's the 19th. So it's the next week when we get it. It's a shame, really. I don't know what they're doing, but
so my two co-hosts, Nigel here and our absent friend, who is unfortunately very busy today, but it doesn't stop him commenting on his phone. Obviously paid way too much money because they've ordered both, and I can't afford a fucking toilet to piss in at the moment. But
we are doing it in a fashion that we're buying
I know.
the PS5. And then we are doing the monthly thing,
which
I love it. I love the idea because you don't just get the console, you also get Game Pass Ultimate for 2 years, which is great. And it works out a little bit cheaper over 2 years for that. So I'm getting the Xbox X with the drive, with this drive, and Gareth is getting the all digital S.
Now I saw a video this week of the S doing a pretty damn good job of upscaling a game to 4K, and a lot of people were saying this is pretty good. I know. Look, we've had arguments. I mean, when Baxter's been watching, there's a running joke about digital copies. The guy attacked me for digital copies and then goes and buys a fucking digital copy of Star Wars, you bastard. But I'm only joking. Look. I mean, jokes aside, I can see why you're getting the disc drive version, and my mates who are massive Xbox fans and have got a lot of fucking Xbox games, this is a way of keeping their investment running for a lot longer. So I completely understand why a lot of people are going for the Xbox X series. For somebody like me who doesn't have previous Xbox games, who, 4K TVs are amazing. I've got a 4K TV, but it doesn't, it's going to do 4K fucking games. So the S just makes sense to me. But the one thing that I think is really, really, really good, and this is where I think Microsoft have done something that I don't necessarily think will give them the edge, but I certainly think they're going to shift a shitload more consoles than they did with the last one, is exactly what you said, this Xbox Pass Ultimate, and the way that they've done this and giving you the ability to pay monthly on the console. I think it's genius, and I think it's going to work.
Yeah.
Do I think it's going to beat the PS5? No. But I think it's going to be much closer to cool this time round. I wouldn't demand a recount, but it's going to be much closer to
we'll
cool.
Have to wait. We'll just be patient and wait for the final results. But you
post them in, mate. Post them in.
Mine's being delivered. So I'm getting the X, and I predominantly went to go get the X because I've got KOTOR 1 and 2 on disc for my OG Xbox. But I've recently found out that those two games are actually on the Game Pass, which is coming with my 2-year thing that I'm getting. Doesn't matter. I'm still going to pop discs in and get them installed because I want to use them. I do like that, and it's got extra hard drive space. So the X comes with 1 terabyte, and the S comes with 500 gigabytes. So considering it's an all digital version, and you can't use a drive, you've got less space to use, especially after you take OS into consideration, which is about 100 and something.
Hang on. I had this conversation, right? The reason you're only getting 500 gig is because the hard drives that they're putting in there are really fucking expensive. They're NVMe hard drives. They are the fastest fucking SSDs that you can currently really get. I am not surprised that it's only 500. It's only 500 gig, but it is a 500 gig NVMe, and you can expand the storage. Now, I don't get me wrong. I can see some of the criticism, but that console is a next gen console for 299 quid. That's epic, in my opinion.
It's good.
And for the casual gamer, that's fine. If you want to buy extra storage, you can. Yes, okay, you're limited to the one that they fucking make you buy. And if you're a regular listener to this, my fucking bugbears with Xbox consoles that you never get the full caboodle like you get with fucking thing. There's always it's a bit like these fucking apps that you download with in-app purchases. Well, Xboxes always have fucking hardware purchases that you have to fucking buy just to get the equivalent of what you get all in when you buy a PlayStation. That bugs me. The fucking batteries in the bloody controllers bug the shit out of me. But I think this move is damn clever, and I think by doing what they've done, by giving you that clear choice, and giving you more ways to buy it, I think it's clever, and I think it's going to work for them. And I want to see there be more competition. I don't want the PlayStation to dominate, because then they'll get lazy. I like the fact that Microsoft keep them on their fucking toes, because that, competition is always better for the consumer. So I don't want to see Microsoft die. I mean, I might be the one that, if I'm going to buy an next gen console at the moment, I'm pretty much sold on the PS5 for numerous reasons. But I still want to see the Xbox do well. And I understand, I've got mates that love their Xboxes and do, a lot of gaming. So I don't want to see them do, as much as they bug the shit out of me in the way they do certain things, I want to see them do well. I do.
Yeah, because this is my first Microsoft Xbox in a long while. I had the 360 for a little while, but purely because it didn't come with the same tech as the PS3, i.e. Wi-Fi, I had to buy a separate Wi-Fi adapter for 70 quid just to connect to the internet, which was all the way downstairs. I ended up just trading it in, which I got 70 quid for on the trade-in. So I only paid 70 quid, and then I got a brand new console with everything built in and controllers with fucking batteries in them. That was I only had that for 5 months, maybe, and then I swapped. Now I think the Xbox is probably a lot better built than it used to be in terms of Red Ring of Death. You do not hear very much of the Xbox One S or Xbox One normal, or the Xbox One fucking naming having this Red Ring of Death, whereby the 360 had it. Mine was on its way out, and I'd had it 5 months, and I had the Red Ring of Death already within 5 months. Oh man,
I got the Red Ring of Death on my original Xbox, and I went out and bought an Elite. And I had the Xbox Elite for a while, the 360 Elite, and that was my last Xbox, was the Elite. I liked that console.
Well,
I liked the 360. I did.
The 360 was okay. The dashboard was all right. I've seen a little bit of dashboard of the X series, and it does look okay. It looks similar to Windows 10, really, with the tiles. So
my mates kept trying to get me to buy a 1S, and I very nearly did. But every time I went into game, it was like, okay, I'll get the 1S. How much is it? Well, it's this much. Okay, I've got it. But then you need the charge packs, which are an extra 20 quid. Then you needed everything else. And then by the time you looked at it, it was more than a fucking PlayStation 4 Pro, you know? And it's just like, this is the thing that I know I keep saying, but that's what bugs me about Xbox is it's never the true price. Never is.
Yeah, I know. I'm looking at it going, right, I'm going to get this controller. I've got to then see if I've got any batteries lying about just to play. Then what I might do, I might spend the 20 quid extra to get a replaceable battery pack so I can just recharge it like they should have been to start with.
They should be. They should should be the same as PlayStation controller. I will give you one bit of all the unboxings that I've watched so far. They include batteries. They include a couple and Duracell batteries as well. So I'll give them that. But that's not the last. They should have built-in lithium batteries like the PS4 controllers do. They should just do away with this bullshit about fucking and don't make out, oh, it's so that we can give you a fucking more versatile. That's bullshit. PlayStation 4. What did they give you? They gave you a 5 fucking meter long, bloody great big USB cable that you could charge your controller and carry on playing. So it's bullshit. It's just Microsoft being cheap. Put fucking lithium batteries in it, and what's more, make your controllers not look like Fisher Price fucking toys because that design is just boring now. Even fucking Sony have changed the design of their controllers, and I might point out the PS5 controller looks to be fucking epic.
It does, it does. I've seen some videos now of the way it functions, the PS5 controller functions, and I can't wait to play it. Apparently, when you get your console, obviously you get Astro's Playground or whatever it's called, built on, already installed on the thing, so you can jump in there and you play with this controller, and you get to feel exactly. They can't put into description, into words, quite how this controller is reacting to the environment around it. You have to feel it to believe it. They said as you're walking across pavement, you can feel it in your hands. When you
the haptic feedback,
carpet, when you can move into when you move into sand, you can feel it in your hand. And I saw a video where he was shooting something, and every time it shot, the trigger's doing this itself. Like it's instead of holding it down, just it's giving you feedback on the triggers, and it gives you. I've seen.
It's epic. I mean, and the attention to detail they put into it. I mean, the repair score on it is shockingly bad. They've Apple-fied their repair ability on that, but I don't care about that. I just think the attention to detail, and I already like this controller. This is the PS4 controller, but the texture on the back of that just feels a premium controller, whereas the original Xbox One controller was really Fisher Pricey. I don't like the look of the Xbox controllers. I just don't. And the PS5 controller just looks sleek and fucking awesome. And when you see those close-up shots of it and the fucking haptic feedback on the fucking triggers, as you mentioned, I've seen a couple of videos with people like that saying that, and and people saying, I saw a video this week where they didn't show you any footage, but they were saying, look, we've played Spider-Man Miles Morales, and it's just if you were a fan of the PS4 Spider-Man game, you're going to love this because the PS5 does give you an next-gen experience. The feedback in the controller, some of the stuff that happens in the controller that they haven't really met. The more I'm fucking seeing this, I'm going to fucking get this bloody console into Thailand, because I will go and fucking sell myself for a couple of days just to buy one because I want it.
Well, like you said earlier, you've got two districts where you can go to sell yourself.
Technically 3,
well, if you exclude your house.
But no, the PS. Right. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you guys getting that. But I'm looking forward to seeing what you think of the Xbox X and Gareth getting his Xbox X series. I'm kind of happy that you guys are getting the different options, because we're going to get both sides of it.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So am I. And the thing I've been seeing a lot of recently is people who are allowed to review only the backwards compatibility of each console. We've been saying for quite a while that although it's great having all these new next-gen games, there are some games in my collection that I really do fancy playing again, and I don't really fancy bringing the old console out, unplugging, plugging in. Instead, at least the PS5 can play PS4 games. I'm pleased with that because although I'm getting Miles Morales on release day, I've got a few games that I wouldn't mind playing on the PS5. I've got my Final Fantasy VII remake, which I've put off playing, but I really want to play on the PS5. It's going to load so much quicker. And there've been Vampire. I've been playing that. Although it was a digital download from PS Plus, the load times just really piss me off. So if you die, it has to reload. It literally has to reload the entire level again. And you're going, oh man, couldn't you just fucking load it? It's going to speed it up. It really is. Have you seen these comparisons?
I have, but the one thing I haven't seen is No Man's Sky running on it. And I'll tell you, the one thing I've noticed, don't get me wrong, No Man's Sky is a much, 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 much improved game from the day it came out. But the one fucking thing it has done is it really doesn't run very well on the OG PS4. And I'm the only one out of all of us that's still got my original PS4 that I bought. And it, the minute you go into the fucking anomaly, it just stutters like shit. And the load times on it, you're sitting there for fucking 3 minutes just waiting for the pissing game to load. But they've also fucking upped all the ante with the next gen version of No Man's Sky. And I'm just worried that even with the PS5, it might screw with the load time still. But I'm looking forward to seeing No Man's Sky on it, I have to admit. I'm really looking forward to Miles Morales. I will be buying that game with the damn console. And we'll see. I mean, I'm hoping that they'll get here before the end of the year. But again, as soon as they come here, I am out there. I am down that shop and I am buying myself PS5. So, yeah.
Well, I've been...
hang on. There's somebody in the comments, and as you know, this has now become something of a tradition.
Hello, Dave.
I fucking love that. Hiya, Dave. How you doing, buddy?
So, yeah.
So nice to see you, Dave. Nice to see you.
There was a comparison which I saw the other day on the load time, but I can't find it, unfortunately. Comparing the PS5 load time to the PS4 or PS4 Pro load time, obviously with the new SSD, it really does speed up. It's so much quicker, halves the time of loading. And I'm hoping that when I'm playing on it, and Gav's getting his as well, that we play on the PS5, that we can play in the same game as you. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we must be able to.
Oh, I believe that No Man's Sky is cross-platform. I think. I think the PS5 hit will be here pretty quickly. Hell, the PS fucking P was here before it even got released. In things, so you'll be able to get a Japanese version of the PS5. Trust me, you will. PS5s, even before they officially are sold here, will be here on Japanese import. So I would suspect they will be here before the end of the year. I'm looking forward to it. I'm sold on it. All the videos that I've seen this week, totally sold on it. But I've also got to get a load of bloody. It's going to be a very, very expensive couple of months. I mean, there's a few new things on my other YouTube thing that I was like, oh fuck. They've released it. I was like, oh, that's going to be
just as a quick comparison. I'm just going to quickly share my my tab I've got open here. It's just a backwards compatibility load time, because at the moment at the moment they're only allowed to show this. You can sort of see here. That's how quick it takes. Like, so let's go to Batman Arkham. Between the two, PS5 to get to the menu is 41 seconds. Xbox just a tiny bit quicker. But then from the menu to the save, the Xbox is a bit quicker.
It doesn't surprise me that the Xbox is going to be slightly quicker on these particular things. When we were looking at the original specs a few months back, Gareth, I think both Gareth and I said that on paper the Xbox is the more powerful system, and it has got slightly faster, slightly more powerful hardware in it. But I still think the PS5 will come out on top because of just their attention to detail and what they can do with the technology that they have. I think it'll be a year before we really see it, but I think the PS5, it might be slower on load times, it might be slower on read times, but I think graphically it will end up being better. And I think in the long run, the PS5 will win that competition. But it's nice to see that the Xbox at the moment is slightly better in it, because what it will do is it'll make Sony perfect. Yeah, it'll make Sony perfect things more, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I do hope so. I mean, this is based on backwards compatibility, and we know that Microsoft is actually miles ahead of Sony on backwards compatibility. So you can see here, to get to the menu, only 6 seconds in it, but then to go from the menu into your saved game, look at the difference here. It's 15 seconds quicker on the Xbox.
Yes, but that's because I think the Xbox has got true NVMe, and I'm not sure the PS5 has. I might be wrong. Gareth, if you're still watching, is the PS5 running NVMe as well?
Yeah,
because I can't remember that.
I think it is. Although the only one that seems to be slightly different is Red Dead Redemption 2. It's slightly quicker to get from the menu into the save, but it is slower on the PS5 than the Xbox to get to the menu. So there's going to be games where they're slightly quicker, slightly slower. But we know that Microsoft has been perfecting this backwards compatibility for quite a while. So, with
yes, again, backwards compatibility. It was. I think an after thing for Sony once they found out that Microsoft was serious about it. It's something that people have been talking about for years. I think backwards compatibility is an awesome thing. The fact that the last time I saw was there are 8 Xbox One games that are not compatible, are not backwards compatible out of their entire fucking catalog, which is just truly awesome. There's only a few PS4 games that I want to play on the PS5 that I only own, and I'm still interested in. Spider-Man being one of them, because I love that game, and we'll probably go back to it.
Well, once it's released, Gareth and I are planning to play a few Xbox X/S games together. Hopefully, because we'll both have our Game Pass, so we'll just download some games and play them. Might stream them. We'll see what goes on with that. But it's worth noting.
Gareth did answer my question, and he said no, it's a custom setup. Cheers, bud. I didn't think so. I think that might explain it slightly. Those early results, but honestly, I think they are slightly misleading. As I said, I think the PS5 will possibly win this, because you just look at the attention to detail that Sony seem to put into these things, and that to me.
And he's confirmed something else here. Backwards compatibility was a big factor from day one for PS4. However, yes, but Microsoft have been thinking about it during the current gen. Xbox One. Backwards compatibility for other games, so they've only had to build on current gen, whereas Sony is building next gen to build on this gen, rather than they've had more time in it essentially, so it should work better. And both consoles do. Gareth's right here, room for NVMe there is. I believe so. I think there's a slot. I think you move off for the PS5. You move the faceplate off, and there's a slot there. I don't think it's active yet. From the reviews I've seen, that's not active yet, and it's probably going to be in one of these updates, firmware updates that they provide, which will allow that to be active. Then you can go off, buy you NVMe.
This is not going to be the last conversation we have on this. I think this is going to be a topic of conversation for the next couple of weeks, and I really am looking forward to hearing your perspectives on it.
Well, this time next week, for you guys. We will have some some play.
Game have managed to sort it. Even though the country, the UK, is in a lockdown currently. Game, by the sounds of things from you guys, have been telling me that they've really sorted it out, so you're going to be able to get your consoles, which is awesome. In fairness, Game did see the writing on the wall, and I think they planned for it, but it's great that you guys can get your consoles.
Yeah, we had to go in. We had to go in last week before lockdown, do the bits registration and stuff like that. We get a little ticket. What we're going to have to do on the day to pick it up is queue outside. They see the ticket, they go off into the store, so we have to wait outside. They go off, get the ticket with our package in, and hand it off. A little bit like a raffle ticket, if you know what I mean. I've got number 100 and something, and they go, right, go off, grab it, come back, here you go. And then that's how it's going to work.
Just before we go into our what the fuck story, I did want to mention Gareth's comment here. He says, also, Digital Foundry demo games that loaded fast and ran with a better frame rate on the PS5. And he's right. I've seen this. I'm with Gareth on this. My gut tells me that those figures are only one part of it. And I think it's going to be far closer to call than you think. I think it's going to be a bit of,
They do.
Yeah.
I think again, exclusives with PS5. There's going to be some good exclusives on PS5. Eventually, we'll get some good exclusives on the Microsoft console because, well, we know they've got Bethesda now, haven't they? So surely there's something going to come out from that. And I think both consoles, in their own right, are going to be fantastic. They are.
Yeah.
They are. I'm looking forward to getting my Xbox because there's a bunch of games, like loads of games that I've never played or been able to play because I haven't had an Xbox, that I'm looking forward to having a go at now through the Game Pass. And that's its beauty. I know it's big.
Before we go on to the what the fuck story this week, I did say I was going to tell a story about Disney Plus. So my sister very kindly gave me access to Disney Plus, and I haven't watched a lot on Disney Plus because it doesn't have a lot I'm interested in. It does have Spider-Man 90s cartoon, which I watched a bit of, but it doesn't have a huge amount on it until, of course, last week when the one fucking thing that I want to watch on Disney Plus has launched. What does my sister go and do? Fucking cancels it. I'm like, I come to watch the second episode of The Mandalorian. It's like, your account has been deactivated. What the fuck? The one time I actually want to use it. Anyway, it turns out that was a free account that she got, and she's signed up for it again, and I got that account. And I managed to watch this week's episode of The Mandalorian. Or I say I managed to watch it. I watched the first 20 minutes of it, and then I fucking hid behind the sofa and couldn't watch the final 10 minutes of it. So we'll review it properly when Gareth is back, because I'm sure he'll have an opinion on it. But let's just say I'm a pussy. I have a fucking phobia of spiders, and seriously, it was like fucking arachnophobia that last 10 minutes. And I was like, no, I am not. I can't watch this shit. It was fucking giant ice spiders of various different fucking sizes, and there were gazillions of them. Nope. And they were just that shape that just complete. I was sitting there and I was going, fucking, no, I can't watch this. I couldn't watch it. I couldn't do it. So I didn't really enjoy this week's Mandalorian episode. Not because of the quality or anything. It's because I'm a pussy and can't do spiders.
Oh dear.
We'll review the next one next week. But it is now time for. So I have found us a what the fuck story for this week, and I will bring up my screen once I've actually called it up. So this week, this made me giggle, so I thought I'd put it up here. Why is it not appearing? Here we go. Man asks for no salad in a McDonald's burger. Now, the headline is slightly misleading. He ordered this burger over, I believe, is it Uber Eats? There you go, Uber Eats. Now, if it's anything like Grab Food here, you can customize your burger where you can say no this, no this, no that. He inadvertently, when he was asking for no salad, also said no bun and no chicken. When it decides to load, this is what he got. Somebody at McDonald's is genius.
What else are they meant to do? He's paid full price for some ketchup.
It's the fact that it allows you to say no chicken in a burger. I don't want any chicken in my chicken burger, please. I mean, come on. I can understand not having cheese or not having mayo and having those options, but seriously, why has it even got no bun, no burger option?
Oh dear.
Yes, he says, my husband just ordered a McDonald's from Uber Eats. He unticked all the salad options because he doesn't like it. Without realizing he unticked the bread bun and the chicken too. So this is his chicken burger. He paid £3 plus and £4 delivery. No wonder he don't look very happy. Oh dear, he does not look very happy, does he? For those, second edit, for those saying chicken burgers don't come with ketchup, he adds the ketchup as an extra and removes the mayo because he doesn't like the mayo. Oh, okay. That made me giggle when I was trying to find one earlier. Just the look on his face. He's not there. He might not get ketchup again for a few weeks. But anyway,
he might sort that out and next time he orders. He'll double check.
I just before we go, Gareth mentions about the this week's Mandalorian episode. Yes, Baby Yoda was a bit of a prick in this episode, and I wonder if that is some foreshadowing. If it is, the show just suddenly got a hell of a lot more interesting. And considering how many people fucking love Baby Yoda, very brave if they're doing what I think they might be doing. So, yes, it's interesting. I am looking forward at the moment to the next episode of The Mandalorian because I think the show is going somewhere, which is really cool. But anyway, we've been Monkey Nut Punch. Nigel, plug the Twitter.
Shameless plug in. So you can find us at Monkey Nut Punch on Twitter and at Monkey Nut Punch on Instagram. We're posting loads of stuff on Instagram and actually Twitter as well as our Facebook group. If you want to have a look, follow us on Facebook, you can also watch this through Facebook and chat to us while we're doing this live. And you can also find us on YouTube. If you're not watching us on YouTube already, you can find us on YouTube and you can watch this on YouTube. So just look for Monkey Nut Punch. Oh, good.
And just because, Dave is watching, we have an audiobook on Audible that these two guys very cleverly did. I mean, just saying. Come on, just plug it.
It's called Bladefoot. We did a audiobook called Bladefoot, and it's basically a reading of Bladefoot novel from David.
If you like Nigel's, soft, husky male voice to soothe you to sleep at night, Not that I'm saying this is a boring book, because I've listened to this, but it's a soothing voice, and it's a great story. And you want to go to sleep at night, download Bladefoot from Audible. Only a couple of quid. It's available now. If you like reading, you can also go onto Amazon Bookstore and find it in all good books. Oh, that's enough plugging.
It must be said that we have done this for Dave, and obviously, if you buy it on Audible, all the money will go to him, not us.
And he needs it because he's a young budding author and he needs your support. So fucking buy his books. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you're listening to the podcast, hopefully we will be all back next week, things permitting. But next week's going to be an interesting week because these guys get their Xboxes, and hopefully we might have a little bit more TV news. Now things are slightly more clearer in certain areas of the world, shall we say? But who fucking knows? Because this is 2020. So who the fuck knows? Hopefully we will be back next week. If not, some shit happened. So anyway, guys, as I said, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one. But for me, it's bye-bye.
And for me, goodbye. Bye.
And did you have it ready? Did you have it ready? No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You suck. You suck. And now I've got to find it. Anyway. Come on.